Hey, Central Family. This is Matt Woodson, Assistant Director of Student Ministries. It's been a while since I've seen all of you guys. And in that past month, there's been this one book that I've been reading that has actually been really transformational for me. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts about that book and that gospel message within that book. So, without further ado, that book itself is called Renovated, God, Dallas Willard, and the Church That Transforms. It's written by Jim Wilder, but it's actually co-written with Dallas Willard. So if you don't know who Dallas Willard is, he is a fairly famous Christian author, author of The Divine Conspiracy, known for a lot of really good pastoral theology. And then Jim Wilder, the other author of the book, is one of Dallas Willard's proteges. He's actually a Christian counselor. And within the book, they're kind of concerned about talking about how gospel transformation happens. And one of the big ideas that they keep on coming back to again and again is this trap that we all fall into, myself very specifically. This trap that we think that gospel transformation happens whenever we exert our will more, that we just are somehow able to have a little bit more willpower, that we become a little bit smarter, or that we just through sheer force of will just become more and more like Christ. Like I said, that's a huge lie, and the book is all about pushing back against that lie. And it's strange because it's very, I've resonated with that myself because there have been a lot of times in my life where I feel like that's how gospel transformation happens for me. It's just me just trying to, bucker up, just try to be a little bit of a better Christian, just try to just have a little bit more willpower. But, here's the truth. It doesn't work. It's, sometimes we get a few results, but it takes so much concentration, takes so much work, and we often have not really all that much results to actually to show for it. We actually just fall into the same sin patterns that we fall into. And the funny thing is, I've grown up in the church for decades, but for some reason, especially here in in our Western culture, we fall into this trap that the gospel or gospel transformation happens if we just are able to just pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. But we're often a very forgetful people. One of my seminary professors, I think it actually may have been Dan Doriani, once told me that the gospel storyline is a story of God's people remembering to remember God's love again and again. And sometimes it requires us to learn the same lesson over and over again. So, like I said, we all fall into that trap of thinking that gospel transformation happens through just having more willpower. But the way that gospel transformation really happens is whenever we encounter Jesus and his love and his goodness, and we encounter gospel community. Here's what I mean by that. To be human means to be in relationship with other people. And those relationships transform us more than our willpower or right thinking. We become like the people that we love. Their loves become our loves. And we're transformed by these people without even knowing it. I mean, sometimes you start picking up on the mannerisms of the people around you without even knowing it. Our souls are almost on autopilot in some sense. And it's actually way more effective. We see actually a lot more change. Trying to change our will through mere strength takes so much concentration and work, and often we don't get very many results, like I've said. But relationships transform us much quicker. So if we're transformed by the people around us, then how much more are we going to be transformed by the very God of the universe who enters into a relationship with us? So here's why I love this book so much. It puts into words this intuitive drive that we've all experienced. I mean, for example, my last devotional was about how transformational the international church was on me. And so many of the other devotionals that we've had throughout the past few months have highlighted how gospel community changes our lives. You know what it's like to be moved by someone who cares for you, and you all probably have stories of how quickly you were to jump into action whenever someone you loved needed your help. So not only does this book really put into this words, this intuitive drive that we experience, that we can put through that we can kind of show other people through our own experiences, but we also have the very Word of God that continues to echo that very same message, that transformation happens through relationship. The Bible is full of God entering into these relational covenants with people like Adam and Abraham, David, eventually us, whenever God enters into the new covenant with us, whenever he etches his very heart onto our hearts. The Bible is about sacrificial love. And that sacrificial love is what renews us through gospel transformation. So, these truths aren't anything new. These are things that are echoed by people like St. Augustine, who communicated the message whenever he said, "Our hearts is restless until it finds its rest in you." These are the truths that people like Luther found that spurred on the Reformation that have changed countless of people's lives around the world. That have, so many people have become Christians because they understand what it means to be in a relationship with God and how that transforms their lives. But while this message isn't new, one of the great things about this message is you can communicate it in so many different ways. For people in my generation and people even younger than me, we'd love to talk about relationships and how transformative those relationships are. And for our generation, just hearing that very true gospel message, just framed in this specific way, actually moves us to action. So for homework, I've got two things for you guys tonight. So one, think about what that gospel transformation has looked like in your life, how you have been changed by relationship, whether it's how you view God or how you view his church. And then the second is to think through that, how you've been transformed, and how you can communicate that to the community around you. Because whenever we're able to build those bridges, we're able to actually bring more people into the gospel community. And that's one of the great things about talking about the Word of God, is there's so many different ways to communicate it. I've given you guys two pretty big homework assignments, but I really look forward to how you guys are going to transform the community around you to be transformed through the renewing work of Christ. It's such a blessing to be part of this community, and I can't wait to see you guys in person. Talk to you later. Bye.